Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back today with another Europa League match preview because it is our last chance to, or maybe our first last chance, really, to salvage something from the season as Manchester United host Olympique Lyon at Old Trafford in a crucial second leg of our Europa League quarterfinal clash with the French club. Now you have to be thinking maybe being at home, maybe being at Old Trafford in a vital match like this, similar to Sociedad, maybe that's a big help. But then you remember everything we've seen from our players since the international break, and reality kind of comes crashing down on you, right? Kind of like a wave of water at Old Trafford. Needless to say, Thursday is huge for us. So we're going to preview the match, which honestly, I mean, tactically, it's going to be the same preview as we just did last week. There's not much different. I mean, we learned a little bit about maybe what we can see from Lyon in that match. So that might change things a little bit. But overall, most of the thing today is going to be about team selection because that's been a little interesting from Ruben Amorim in recent weeks. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive into some news, though, before we get started. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and be sure to check out if you saw my post, if you see the comment in the chat. The UVE store is now officially live. United vs. Everybody merch is available to purchase. It's live now for the next couple days. I think you can get 20% off everything. I don't control the amount of the discounts, and I honestly I looked. I can't control on when these things go live. I can only control which ones I have active. So of course, you guys know, as my appreciation, I activate all of the discounts that I can for you guys. I don't make a ton of money off that stuff, so but I want to make sure the stuff just gets out there and hooked up if you guys are interested. So keep a lookout for that. I'll try to always keep some sort of discount or something live for everybody because I care more about people getting them if they want. I don't want ever, money to be a hurdle for people. So be sure to check that out. You can get exciting tops like this one. This is the first sample I got. I've got them in the black lettering, I've got them in white lettering, and I've got them in the green and gold that you guys saw me wear yesterday. That one is fire, by the way. I got a lot of compliments on that one. So I am excited about that. But go check out the store when you get a chance. They've got hoodies. There's women's shirts. These are the premium shirt. These are a bit of a slimmer fit. I did not put this in the dryer when I washed it, so that could have maybe it might shrink. I don't know, but always check the labels before you do. Like we talked about yesterday, I am a bit of a picky little bitch when it comes to the way my clothes fit, and so it's like a crazy laboratory with the way I take care of my clothes. Sometimes it's not a flex. It's not a flex at all. But let's check the channel, see what you guys are digging into. So Danny, yeah, we're gonna get to that, Danny. But Lionhearts is in, Danny B is in the house, box big up. Danny says, yeah, I was looking earlier. Grab one soon. Nice job. I mean, I didn't really do anything. I appreciate that and thank you. I didn't really do much. I just was like, I want, I've seen designs like this for like where I live, like Detroit Lions and like stuff like that, or just Detroit in general. But I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. Not only is it a cool logo, but like the slogan, obviously it's the channel name. So usually, it's you see them with different sports teams. So I thought I would just get in on it. You can see the little detail here. These are little tridents on either side of the verses. So like that little touch as well. But yeah, go ahead and check those out, you guys. Let's just dive into the news. I mean, we might as well start with it because you guys are starting with it. We'll start with a tiny bit of transfer news first. But yeah, so like Danny says, we got a little bit of a bomba here from David Ornstein. Now I say bomba, but it's not. I mean, it's not necessarily United related because it's not us. But yeah, reports are from David Ornstein that Aston Villa are talking to Sphere Nippon. So according to David Ornstein, they're working to close the deal. Heavily pursued by Arsenal and Girona as well, but it sounds like Villa are confident that they could get that deal over the line. Still haven't agreed any sort of anything. So far, just talks have begun. So no fee agreed, no personal terms or anything. So let's not get too angry too quickly. But I know a lot of us have wanted him. He's a big United fan. Obviously, he went on that tour in January, visiting with clubs like Arsenal and Man City and whatnot. And obviously, he's, like I said, big United fan. So it is a bit of a bummer if we miss out on that, but it doesn't honestly. Like Bach says, Nippon Villa is shit. I don't know if we were ever. It doesn't really seem like we were ever really in form, unfortunately. And again, at that point, we can't. I get it. I'm frustrated. I wish we were in form. It doesn't really seem like we were seriously in form. And at that point, it's one of those things where if that's not who Amorim is interested in, if it's not who the club is interested in, then we have to also back that decision as well, right? We can't say, we trust Amorim and this and that, and then get mad like this. Like again, these are the decisions, so we'll see. It could come back to bite us in the ass if he does well at Villa, and then we still want him later. I don't know, but to me, it doesn't really seem like maybe we were all that interested. We've never really been super, super seriously linked. But I know a lot of us might be just get it out, just vent, get it out. Danny's pissed. He's fuming. Yeah, it is a bummer. Fox says looks like we won't get Embuemo, Gyökeres either. Well, we have to be getting somebody. So there are other options out there. Hopefully, we're just looking at someone like Cherke, someone like Cunha, Delap, whoever. I don't know, but we need to be doing something. So Danny's not happy at all. Sorry, brother. I'm not happy about it either, but we'll see. Nothing's finalized yet, not even personal terms or fee or anything. So you never know. He is a United fan. It wouldn't take much for us to just come in and be like, "Yo, what up?" But yeah, that is some news we saw this morning. So Leonard says, "When was actually the last time United were linked with Nippon?" Now, yeah, I think that's the thing. We were linked doesn't necessarily always mean that we're interested. Obviously, we discuss it, we talk about it, we talk about what's being reported. Our name is used a lot. Again, I think the closest link we've had is the fact that he is a United fan. So, and then we played them in preseason. So, I think it's just option C and D. Well, we're gonna see. We'll see what happens. Again, nothing's happened yet, so you never know. We could be coming back here and saying, "Well, I guess we were wrong if we sign him," but we never know. So, like Lionheart says, I don't think he was ever potential transfer. Yeah, it doesn't. Again, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to claim to be an ITK or anything. It just doesn't ever seem like we were. Like we never. We obviously got reports that he had met with Arsenal. He had met with City. We never got reports that he had met with United. So again, he is a very good player. We've talked about him ad nauseum on this channel. I've done special, like exclusive videos just on him alone. So you guys know how highly I rate this kid. Would love him. I think he would be great at United. I think he can be a versatile addition to the squad. It's just, if we're not in form, we're not in form. There's not much I can do about that, right? We can want to get all sorts of players, but it's just kind of like João Neves. I don't really think we were ever super interested in João Neves. It is what it is. So what are you going to do? Box says Cherki, Cunha, Delap, Dibbling for 150 million. Offload Rashford, Anthony Sancho for 100. Yeah. I mean, Cherki, Cunha, Delap, and Dibbling is like a whole new like front three rotation. And then you can throw like Ahmad in there as well. So, but that is a bummer if that is the case. We will see though. Like I said, nothing's finalized. And like we've talked about, I've not seen super close links, super serious links with us. So it could be just as simple as we're not super interested in, which is a bummer because it is a kind of player that we should be interested in. But moving on, because we can't not talk about a big thing that came up over following our Newcastle match, and that was, I don't know if you guys have probably seen it. I'm not going to give it a whole lot of airtime because I don't think it deserves a whole lot of airtime, and clearly Sky don't because they took a lot of it down. But we can't not talk about Thierry Henry and Jamie Carragher's absolutely embarrassing, stupid behavior following the Newcastle match. Did you guys see this crap? Henry going in on Lenny Yoro after we conceded a goal. I think it was Bruno Guimaraes' goal. Going in on literally talking for like a minute and a half on Lenny Yoro looking at the linesman to see if it was offside or not. What an absolute prick. And then Jamie Carragher chiming in as well, like talking about how has it become meme worthy and whatnot. And then Sky like pretty much deleted everything, but shows you just how uncalled for it was that Sky deleted everything. But again, this is what you get now with the mainstream media. This is what you're going to get from journos, from pundits and stuff. They've been, the mainstream media and even punditry and commentators are being so butthurt by the rise of fan channels. And I'm not including myself in this because I'm not a huge fan channel, but there are a lot of huge fan channels out there who are getting regular access to press conferences, suites at these matches. They're getting exclusive interviews with players, managers, whatnot. There are fan channels who are getting more of this than the journalists have ever had, and they're getting butthurt by it. So now the mainstream media is resorting to shit like this in an effort to stay relevant. It's just the way it is, man. Um, so what's here? What we got here? It's doable, I hope. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe it's doable. You never know. But I mean, Jamie Carragher chiming in on what's meme worthy as a club for rivals is a bit. He's the last person, in my opinion, Carragher, who should be talking about rival players turning into memes. If we want to rewind history a little bit, doodle because we get some brilliant numbers like this little number. Virgil van Dijk getting absolutely done by Perisic. Or getting absolutely done by Jadon Sancho. You guys remember that a few years back, just looking like Bambi on ice out here. The memes for Virgil van Dijk alone. Or this little number. This is one of my personal favorites on Mo Salah, diving. I mean, Mo Salah, you can make a whole like encyclopedia of Mo Salah dives. I mean, this guy is absolutely gold. Or this one, you just absolutely perfect. You couldn't have written this one any better. I love it. I absolutely love it. Or this one, this is probably perhaps my favorite of all time. Slippy G. Some of the slipper memes going out are absolute fire. Or this little number that we all like to remember from Jamie Carragher, one of his finest moments as a football personality. Um, Absolute fucking trash from Jamie Carragher and Thierry Henry. And like I said, Sky pretty much agreed. So again, Carragher, you should be the last person to talk about anybody being meme worthy, buddy. Get fucked. Anyway, let's move on to the news. Like I said, didn't want to give it any more time than that, but following the Newcastle match, you guys like that? You guys, following the 4-1 drubbing by Newcastle, it was pretty clear that Ruben Amorim was not happy. Obviously, the post match interview was not fun for a lot of us. It was you could tell he was visibly just like trying to hold back a lot. It seemed like it was physiologically causing him like so much damage. But it doesn't seem like a good night's sleep helped either, because we got some rumors that he had canceled a meet and greet with a bunch of kids and instead called an emergency team meeting instead. And reportedly, the players got a huge bollocking there. No, reportedly, according to reports, nobody was even speaking. Amorim was reportedly told them all, listen, you've got to the end of the season to fix up or fuck off, basically, which is something that we've said for a long time. I don't really know why it needed to be repeating, but maybe he basically just had to sit him down because, again, I've said it after the match and I said it during the match. That was the worst I've seen us play all season. Like, we could not lay a glove on Newcastle. It was absolutely embarrassing. And Amorim takes, in my opinion, needs to take a fair portion of the responsibility for that too, with the way that we were playing tactically. He did everything that we shouldn't have done, and we talked about this yesterday, but he needs to take responsibility as well. But again, if the players can't or aren't putting the tactics into play, if they're just making the stupid mistakes, the wrong decisions, then they've got to fix up. A lot of them just aren't good enough, and we've talked about this, but like it was embarrassing. We're a laughing stock right now, and that was just the icing on the cake for a lot of rival fans right now. It's absolute ridiculous. But we'll see what happens if the players respond to it, or if they're just going to shrink into their little shells like they do on a regular basis. Again, no resilience in this club. Somebody, I forget who it was. I totally respect the opinions. Somebody in the comments was talking about like criticism, and the comment was specifically about Onana. Now, first of all, I don't think any of the players watch this channel, so it doesn't really make a difference. But that's a part of being an athlete. Quite frankly, it is a part of being just a human, is resilience, responding to criticism, responding to setback, responding when you do get called out for stuff, when it is on you, when you do make a mistake and it's pointed out in front of a group of people. Like, you have to be able to handle that. You may not like it, it may not feel good, but that's where you separate the elite mentalities from the weak mentalities. That's the pro and the professional. This is part of it. It's not just go out there and do what you want. Like, it is what it is. Actors, people pay to see their movies. People criticize their movies. People can applaud the movies or whatever. that's feedback, that's criticism, and it works or it doesn't. It's part of life. That's part of the profession. You're going to get feedback. We can't sit here and say that we want to be entertained as fans. We want to see entertaining football, but then turn around and say we're not allowed to criticize bad performances. I'm not going hard and saying like amorim out, this player out, nothing's going to get better. I can only respond to what I see in a match, and what I saw from Onana against Lyon, what I saw from the players against Newcastle, what we've seen from them at several different points throughout the season. We respond to it. Now, where you start to extrapolate and generalize is when the same players, or when a manager is making the same mistakes over and over again and nothing is improving. Then it turns a corner and becomes a bit more of a concern. Then we're allowed to jump from criticism to, okay, you're on your last strike here. Like, that's just the way it works. So, Box says, I feel sorry for Amorim. Also, Ten Hag, in regards to the consistent number of individual errors, mistakes, misses, etc., that keep occurring. Yeah, I mean, you can have an excellent game plan. Like, Rayon Cherki could come out here and try to talk shit after the match, but the only reason they drew 2-2 was because of Onana errors. And it's not heavy-handed, it's not mean, it's not an insult to literally say that, because it's a fact. Onana errors cost us that match. Onana errors have cost us on several occasions. Onana errors saw us get jumped out of the Champions League last season in the group stage. I was there for the Galatasaray match. It was a shit show. Justin and I were there for Brighton a couple months ago. It was a shit show. We've seen him do this kind of stuff over and over again. It's not going too heavy. It's just pointing out the facts. The drop-off in Onana from when he was in the Champions League final at Inter is stark. Even his ability on the ball, the drop-off has been just like shocking. And again, unfortunately, I've said it before, it seems like another player who maybe just can't handle the pressure of playing for United, because you don't just lose that stuff. The reason we got him is for his ability in the ball, and that's been shit since he arrived. He's had like a couple Cruyff turns, and that's about it. That's what I've seen from him. Other than that, he'll pull out a great save now and then, but the comparison of the great saves versus all the other errors is just so totally skewed that, again, like I've said, he's a net negative. And so I don't want to turn into a Onana hate fest, but again, pointing out the criticism, pointing out what we've seen, pointing out what we continue to see. Box says, it also annoyed me the amount of times our players kept slipping and sliding versus Newcastle. Yeah, I saw Dallo slipped quite a few times. Just go change the boots, Dallo. Like, it's the way it is. I never understood it, though. Like, I would hate playing on a wet turf. I don't like playing on wet stuff here. To me, that makes everything slippery. I'd rather not do that, but I'm not a professional, so it is what it is. Somebody can let me know. Danny says, never wanted him. I wanted Raya before Arsenal got him. Yeah, I think there were a lot of alternatives at the time. I would have preferred to keep Matty Kovar personally at that time, but it is, unfortunately, I think Vitek is another one that we're going to lose because of just that kind of thing. But it is what it is. The academy players drew 1-1 with Wolves, so there's a positive there, right? Jack Fletcher scored that goal. Let's jump back into some transfer news here. So Fabrizio Romano claims that when it comes to the future of Liam Delap, who we've discussed on this channel, who we've been linked with, Romano claims that the race is down to two clubs, United and Chelsea. If I were a betting man, I'd probably say that Delap will be wearing blue next season instead of red, but that's just me. We know that Todd Bowley can't resist a young player. We know that they're trying to look for another player either to replace or kind of play in tandem with Jackson. So he's very similar style. So we'll see. I can't remember what the homegrown quota is at Chelsea right now. I just don't know off the top of my head, but that could be a thing. But like I said, if I had to bet, I would say that Delap is definitely going to Chelsea, but that is what it is. Box says Jan Sommer was a free agent. Yeah, there's a lot of coulda, woulda, shouldas with some of that, man. I think who's the goalkeeper, the guy who's going to be free this summer? It's on the top of my head. I can't. It's like literally on the tip of my tongue. I think he plays in Serie A, the keeper Martel or something. I don't remember off the top of my head now. Leinart says, why don't we ever promote our academy keepers? Are they never good enough or something? Honestly, Vitek is having a tremendous season right now with Linz. Kovar, when he was on loan at Sparta Prague, was having a tremendous season, one of the best keepers in that league. It is what it is, man. I like Kovar a lot. I like VTech a lot. They aren't, neither of them are in the modern goalkeeping vein in terms of like, I think a lot of managers now want keepers to be able to be better with their feet. But at the end of the day, I mean, and maybe it's just me. If you can make a save, if you can command your area, that's all I need from you as a keeper. I don't need you to pick a pass. I don't need you to do this. Like, I don't care. Um, Unfortunately, it's a system thing, and you guys know that that's kind of how I filter transfer targets and whatnot through is, do they fit the system? Because that's ultimately going to be what decides whether or not they work out in this system at this club, is do they fit this system? That's the guy, Box Merritt. That's the one. I couldn't remember what his name was. Yeah, he's going to be free. So, but in anyway, sticking with striker news, Patrick Berger has thrown a new name into the mix. This time it's Bayer Leverkusen attacker Patrick Schick. Reportedly, United are monitoring his situation. And while we do prefer a younger profile, Schick is also an interesting prospect. Sky Germany reports that the Premier League is actually Schick's preferred destination if he leaves. So apparently, initial contact has been made between United and Leverkusen, but they would demand like 25, 30 million euros. So what is that, like 18, 20 million pounds or so? I actually really like Patrick Schick personally. I liked him a couple of years ago. He had a really good, I can't remember if it was the Euros or the World Cup, where he was immense for the Czech Republic. He's a really good striker. But if these reports are true, it does sort of feel like something that we've seen us do for years now. 29-year-old striker, relies on service, a big, tall guy. Sound familiar? I mean, granted, Schick is much better, in my opinion, than Wout Weghorst or like Odion Ighalo, but it still just feels a little bit like copy paste if it's true. That's the older striker kind of thing. And again, when you're coming in relying on service, Schick isn't going to drop deep and create for himself. Schick's a big guy. He's quick, but he needs service, and that's a big problem too. Like I said, I do need the striker that we bring in. It also needs to be able to do a little bit more of that legwork as well. So but I do like Schick a lot. I think he's a good striker. It just feels a little underwhelming, I guess. Again, it is a rumor, so we'll see what happens. Box thinks Schick would be a solid. I like Schick. I've liked him for a few years. I think he's a good option, but I think it's just 29. It just feels like, again, close your eyes and it feels right again like 22, 23 when we brought in Weghorst, or like what, 18, 19 or something with Ighalo. It feels the same. It just does. Box think ideally Højlund will be ready to take over. Yeah, Højlund, it's one thing for me to say like Højlund needs to learn, and then in a couple of years he might be ready to lead the line. But it's a lot of this is going to be on Højlund, because he also needs to show me that he can learn, he can develop, he can push himself, he can put in the extra time, he can add a couple more strings to his bow. Work on your hold up play, work on the movement. The movement's going to come as he gets older. That's going to happen, but work on other facets of being a striker. Now, we saw a little bit of that against City. He and Garnacho were linking up very, very nicely in the midfield, but he needs to improve that if he wants to be a more solid, kind of well-rounded option personally. But Box says he still have doubts. Yeah. Danny says, so he's not too old, but Gyökeres or Osimhen aren't. These clowns think we are stupid. I'm done. Again, they're rumors. We don't know what's actually going on. It's just links. So you'll notice that unless it's from an official source, like more often than not, I tend to reserve judgment on the owners or Amorim or something, or even a player when it comes to contract talks. This is why I don't go hard on Coffee Manu, because all we've gotten so far is some bullshit from Chris Wheeler. I'm just here to share it. So again, it may come across as boring, but I don't want to go too hard. We don't know. It's a new name in the mix. I just report it. So we'll see how it goes. But Danny says I can't back Højlund. Yeah, Højlund he's got to the end of the season to show me something. He's got a handful of matches to get a handful of goals. If Højlund can get like 5 more matches, or 5 more goals, before the end of the season, and league goals at that, not just European goals, league goals. If he can get like 7 or 8 total goals in all competitions before the end of the season, if we go through in the next round in Europa League, then he gets a little bit more time. But again, that ice that he's on is super, 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 super thin right now. And I mean thin. 2 years is is long enough. And we know that Omar Barada has that 2-year axe that he just kind of swings back and forth. So it's not up to me, but it's just a shame personally. But um, Danny says we're doomed with Scummios and the Glazers. Oh boy. Box says transfer silly season used to be summer and January. Now it's all year round. Yeah, I mean, it's United. It is what it is. Sticking with attackers, though, David Ornstein also claims that Ruben Amorim is a big fan of Nelson Semenyo at Bournemouth. But reportedly, the Cherries would demand more than 65 million for this guy. Ben Jacobs even goes on to say the price could be closer to 75 million. No thanks. I like Semenyo a lot. I think he's a versatile option. Obviously, he's having a very good season. We can't spend that much on one player, man. We just can't afford to do that. We have to be smart. You guys know what I've said. It build, not buy. And no, it's not like we're handing over a check for 75 million. But again, that's a big chunk of change to take out of the budget. So it is unfortunate. Leonard says, same as Onana. I doubt he will, but it would save us a ton of money. Yeah. Onana's a little different to me than guys like Højlund or Garnacho because he's 29. He's been in a Champions League final. He's a senior keeper. He's a senior player. He's supposed to be a senior figure in the dressing room. And the drop off from him, like there's not much more development for Onana to do as opposed to someone like Garnacho or Højlund. Højlund and Garnacho are still on very early stages of their career. They could have a lot more to go. They could have a much higher ceiling. Onana just seems like he took the ceiling and lowered it. Like he saw his house had 2 floors and he was like, nah, I just want 1 floor. Let's lower that, Bad Jackson. And it's just shocking to watch because he was literally statistically the best keeper in that Champions League when Inter went to the final. So Box says 75 million. Blimey. Yeah. I don't think he's worth half that personally. Like Danny says, he's not worth 30. And like you're saying, he is inconsistent for a goal. I feel like he's had some injuries too, Semenyo. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't watch a ton of Bournemouth. They started the season strong. They were having a really good, and then they've kind of fallen off a little bit at the moment. Same with Fulham, which we said was going to happen. Again, people, they revert to the mean. And I said the same thing about Spurs. Everybody was gassing up Ange last season, and I said, just wait to see what happens when people figure him out, when he loses some players. Again, crisis management, injuries, it's a big part of it. And sure enough, what happened? the boomerang Bielsa got found out. He's going in on fans. The hilarious thing, it was going in at fans for things I said after Spurs scored not that long ago. I think it was Sarr that scored, and then the goal got chalked off for offside or something. And then it's just like, dude, just keep your powder dry, Ange. Like Ange is the last person right now who should be talking shit. Just get to the end of the season and try to, because you're below us and we're a laughing stock. Now, granted, the levels are different between Spurs and United, but still, like, dude, he came in with the smoke last year talking about this and that and the other thing, and now he's just completely changed his tune on so much. And that guy, how he still is in the job is absolutely beyond me. Rob, big up, Rob. Good to see you again. We are just getting through the news right now. Let me know your thoughts on Semenyo, man. Would you take him? 75 million? Nope. Sorry. Box says, perhaps that Onana Champions League season was similar to when a player shines at a major international tournament. Brief peak. Yeah, statistically, the save percentage, the shots on target, all that stuff, the saves per 90, like he was up there. He was the best or close to it for that tournament. And you can't deny that. Like it's the same like Guirassy that one season, even Sebastian Haller in the Champions League did really, really well when he was at Ajax. That one, like you can only play with who you are, who you're up against. So he had a very good season. I'm not saying that made him a great keeper, but in that tournament, he was up there with the best, and that's all we can go on. But I watched him when he was at Ajax. He got done for doping, so he was banned from football for a while. Inter then picked him up, right? So he's not without some issues here and there, Onana. And I'm not using that to judge him. I'm just saying it's been a up and down kind of career for Onana in the last 5-6 years. So Rob says match gets played, someone plays well, and then they're linked to us. Basically, that's just Man United math for the media, right? It's just 2 + 2 is 5 with these idiot sticks out here. But you see it sometimes from fans too. We'll see someone will have a good season or someone will have a good match, and then all you'll see on social media is like United should be uniform. We're getting done out here. It's like maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just like numb to it. I just kind of just keep my head down and I have like tunnel vision. I tune a lot of that shit out because I just expect it more often than not. I try to focus in on the legit stuff if I can, but UK Darren fan, lots of spanners. Uh-oh. If there are spammers, mods, handle my light work for me. Get them out. I haven't seen any. I don't see any popping up on this chat. So, but welcome to the channel, UK Darren fan. Big up. Lionheart says, technically, Semenya would be a squad player at United. Good player, but United, which should be a squad player. Does that make sense? Yeah, I don't think we're going to pay that much for a squad player. But I hear what you're saying. And that's the reason why, like, with like the Luis Enrique stuff that we're going to talk about, I don't think that we would get a 23-year-old right wing back, right midfielder from Marseille for him to be a squad player. To me, that means Dallow's gone or Ahmad is a 10 in Ruben Amorim's eyes, if that makes sense. So we'll talk about that in a hot second. Box has agreed, but just in general, the fees being quote, yeah. If you're buying a player, this is another big reason why I'm not always so eager to jump into the Premier League market, because it's that whole like Premier League tax, English tax versus Premier League proven. Now, I buy the Premier League tax thing is to me more of a legit factor than Premier League proven, because you can be Premier League proven but be shit in the Premier League. Just because you're in the Premier League doesn't mean you're good. And then we've seen players come in and completely shatter that whole mentality. Like Bruno, for instance, been literally the best midfielder in the league since he joined. And he came from a league that people don't even put in their top 5. So I don't buy into that as much. I think if the player's good, the player's good. If they suit the system, then they'll just be even better. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm tired of paying extra for fucking Premier League. And I'd like to see us just look around. Like Danny talks about, like the South American market, Belgian market. There's other leagues out there that you can find good players in. So Lionheart says he's calling us all a bunch of tools, one believes. I don't know who's calling us all a bunch of tools. Darkro, big up, Darkro. Good to see you again, man. It's ironic when people troll and then they want to call their people tools. It's weird. Darko, is it true Onana wants a pay? I haven't seen anything about Onana wanting a pay rise. I've seen reports that he could be worried about his situation. I've seen reports that he could be worried that he's going to be dropped again for Thursday's match. He did show up to Carrington yesterday with his agent. So I don't make of that what you will, but that's literally all we've seen. So some outlets might say he's angling for a contract, or he might just want some clarity. I don't know. All I've seen, literally the only facts are he showed up with his agent and he was dropped altogether for Newcastle. Everyone else is going to take that and add a bunch of spin to it. So, but yeah, and like Bach says, he did change agents not that long ago, which usually means you're either angling for a move or maybe you're trying to get a new contract or whatever. I would love for him to go get a move because I just don't think he's good enough. But again, on keepers, it's no secret that keepers are a big talking point right now for us. Not only have our current keepers committed some very high-profile clangers in recent weeks, but we've also been linked to a lot of potential replacements. Lots of names have been put out there. Lamens at Antwerp, Jean Garcia, Chevalier. I saw Ramsdale linked. What's his face? Trafford at Burnley. We got a new name though, and this one comes from Nico Shara, and he reports again. Well, it's not really a new name; it's an old name, but a rekindled link. But he reports that Porto keeper Diogo Costa is still on United's list. You remember we were linked to Costa that same summer we got Andre Onana. At that time, you can't argue that Costa was one of the best young keepers around. He was immense for Porto, but he still got an error in him here and there. Costa, obviously, he had a little bit of a blunder when we played Porto and knocked them out. I think that Costa's price is probably going to be a bit more than what he's worth these days. I think people are still going to be remembering the hype from a few years ago. I don't think he's as good as he was, but it is what it is. I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's necessarily as great as what we'd have to pay for him. Darkro says, are you supporting Villa in the UCL as a PL fan? I'm supporting Villa as a United fan who wants as much money from Rashford's loan and a potential summer move as possible. Because just like Jadon Sancho, when Dortmund got all the way to the final, we get a little bit of money every time Rashford performs well, every time they get to a new stage in the Champions League. And all that's going to do is help us in the summer because I doubt Rashford would want to stay if he's playing well, if he's scoring goals, and some other major European club come in for him, he's going to drop Villa like third period French and go there. And so we'll get more money. That's why I'm supporting Villa. It's all in for Villa right now in the Champions League because that means that we're just going to get more money. So Box says I'd get Chevalier. Lille reportedly want 35 million. I like Chevalier a lot. Joan Garcia would be about 20 some odd million. He has a 21 million release clause, but pay a little bit more. Break that down over a course of a couple of years and you're fine. Dana says Joan Garcia probably be my choice. Yeah, that release clause for me does. And again, I know it sounds weird as a fan to constantly kind of filter a lot of this transfer business through the finances, but you have to almost because that's what we're doing. And so it just is. It's just the way it works. If we go spend a ton of money on Diogo Costa, that's a lot taken out of someplace else. We go spend a ton of money on freaking Semenyo or something. That's just money that we don't get to do other. We could bring in literally 5-6 quality players that improve the floor of this squad, and that would walk into the starting 11 for nothing. You guys saw I did it in my summer rebuild video. It doesn't take a lot of money. It just takes a little bit of creativity, a little bit of proactivity, and then just some actual scouting for once, and stop just looking at whoever the top rated overall is in FC25. Darren fan, what's up, man? It's not that we wanted having a goalkeeper problem. It's this coming window. It's not what we wanted. Yeah. Going at the beginning of the season, I probably wouldn't have gone into this summer saying, yeah, we needed a keeper. But again, the sample size of the performances we've seen from Onana and even Binder to an extent. Obviously, Binder was a hero against Arsenal in the FA Cup, but it's not like he's going to move the needle in terms of like, is he good enough to start for United? But now, and I even did that poll the other day in the video, and it was half and half. Half of you guys wanted a striker, half of you guys said a keeper was a priority. And I think that right now, again, maybe it's a bit of recency bias, but Onana is just kind of showing me like, for him, it's mental. He doesn't come off his line. He's afraid to come out and get involved. The ball comes near him and he freaks out, and he's not that good. So, and he's 29. So take anything more than 20 million for sure. If anybody snipes the handoff and go get Joan Garcia, and you're going to get money from VTech. I don't want to sell VTech, but I don't think he's going to stay. So Linus, all I read is Garcia is on his way to Arsenal. I read that they were linked. And we talked about that a couple weeks back when we first saw those links too. But Rob says should be a good game. I can watch because it's on Amazon in the UK. Oh, the Champions League. I wish I lived in the UK sometimes because the mentor that we've got for my group, she works with players, and she asked if anybody in my group for this project wanted to go to the game today because it's at Aston Villa, and I'm like, I wish I lived in that. That would be great. Moving on. So Diogo Costa, let me know. So remember, again, going back to Luis Enrique. So I've talked about Luis Enrique a couple times on the channel, right? It's right wingback / right midfielder, plays for Marseille, 23 years old. We've been linked to him in recent weeks, but yesterday TBR Football claims United have already started laying the groundwork to explore a deal to try to beat Newcastle for his signature. So Newcastle obviously have Kieran Trippier, who's about 47 years old. But apparently he's the best thing since sliced bread, since the commentators still fucking go on about his free kick goal for England like 5-6 years ago. Like, do me a favor. Really? Come on. But Luis Enrique is the truth. This guy plays in the system that we play, plays a position that we maybe need to do better in, because I think he is better than Diogo Dalot. 9 goals, 7 assists in all competitions for Luis Enrique from the right wingback position. Those are like peak Frimpong numbers. I mean, not even, but so Frimpong, Luis Enrique, these guys are in the upper echelon right now for when it comes to right wingbacks. He is absolutely immense. 23, so he's a bit older than Giovanni Quenda, bit older than Roger Fernandez, which again, if the links are true, this makes me wonder if Ruben Amorim sees Ahmad as more of a 10 than a right wing back, simply because Ahmad obviously starts if he's fit. Luis Enrique is not going to come in and be a rotation option. He's going to come in and he's going to want to play. So that makes me feel like Ahmad's the 10. Luis Enrique would be a right wing back. Dalot could maybe get moved on. Get Rayan Cherki for the other side. I mean, Bob's your uncle, right? Get it done. I'm all over that. 47, dude. How old is Kieran Trippier? The guy's all he's been. You guys remember when he was at Atletico? That was one of the most random transfers ever. um, and then finally, in a bit of news, the potential outgoing news. This is coming from the Mirror, so it is what it is. But apparently, United have rejected an offer from Real Betis to extend Antony's loan by another season. We know that Betis love Antony. Sounds like, if the reports are to be believed, they want to get him on another loan. Dude, fuck off. If you want him, pay up. It's up to you to figure out the wages. It's not up to us to figure out the wages. Again, the wages are what kills us with PSR. It's not necessarily the fees all the time. It's the how much we pay these players. Nobody else can take them off our hands. Nobody else wants to buy them. No, who's going to pay $200K a week for Antony? If Betis want him, they're going to have to do something. But apparently, we've told Betis, like, no, if you want him, you have to sign him permanently if you want to keep him. And then reportedly, Antony has told, he's pretty much made it clear that he wants to stay with Real Betis. I think it's a perfect club for him. It's a perfect league for him. Again, the Premier League just didn't suit him. It's just all there is to it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think the shame would be waiting too long or refusing to admit it until you're just struggling and your career is ruined, a la Donny van de Beek. It just is what it is. Go make it, like, it doesn't take long to realize, all right, this isn't working for me. I need to go do something else. Like, that is what it is. Box says Trippier started his career, man. I remember when he was at Aston Villa. I used to sign him in FIFA way back when he was still at Aston Villa. I would sign him because he was actually very good back then. But yeah, like Box says, pay up, Betis. Yeah, pay up. You've got money. Don't sit here and cry. All these teams on like cry poverty when it's United involved, man. Fuck off, dude. UK Darren says Box 100%. Yeah, 100% pay up if you want them. It's up to you guys to figure out the wages. It's not up to us. 20, 25 million, you can have them, and then figure out wages after that. Figure it out. Danny says, check out Gaston Martirena. He's actually on my list, Danny Martirena. Yeah, 24 Uruguayan at Racing Club. Yeah, he's on my list. He's a bit older. Yeah, he's on my list. The scouting reports, you guys know I'm always up on the scouting reports. I did that one the other day with Demir Tiknaz, the defensive midfielder on loan at Rio Ave right now. Very good young player. Again, not all these scouting reports are players that I think United should go over. They're just young players, hidden gems out there that people should be taking a look at, I think. Box says, will be funny if Betis beat Chelsea in the Conference League finale. Oh, I would fucking inject that into my veins if they beat Chelsea. That would be hilarious. I don't really consider the Conference League a thing at all. It's been around 3 years now. It's a money grab. If we were in it, I would be hard pressed to make time to watch it. Like right now, I work a lot of my schedule around United matches. If we were in the Conference League, I don't know if I would be as eager to say no to other things just so I could sit home and watch the Conference League. But I say that now, but you never know. And Antony gets the winner. I would absolutely die laughing if Antony got the winner, man. And to be fair, Antony has scored some big goals for us against Liverpool in that quarterfinal. Against Barcelona. That Barcelona goal is literally the goal that meant that when Justin and I went to Manchester a few years back, that we got to go to, ironically enough, the Betis match, the Europa League match. That was my first ever match at Old Trafford, was against Real Betis in the Europa League. But Antony's goal with his right foot against Barcelona is what sealed that for me. So I got a little bit of a soft spot. And as I say, that match also allowed me to see a rare Wout Weghorst goal at Old Trafford. So, but big up. Antony versus Sancho, yes. The freedom fighters, right? And Sancho gets sent off. Oh, man. So let's move on to this match. Hit that like button for me, you guys haven't yet. Subscribe if you are new. I'm digging the chat right now. I got to keep an eye on the time because I'm supposed to do a phone call here with one of these guys in my group. And then it's got someone coming to clean out my kitchen sink drain today, too. So it's all kicking off, and I got to get my boat out and clean that up. So now that it's nicer, I'm trying to finally get out in the water. So obviously we drew 2-2 against Lyon in that first leg at Lyon. And again, like I said, despite Rayan Cherki's post-match comments, Lyon weren't great. Both their goals came from Onana errors. And if that's what it takes for them to get a draw at home in Europe against this United side, then I'd be more concerned if I were a Lyon supporter than a United supporter, if that's what it takes. If you're relying on Onana errors, granted, you can probably anticipate you're going to get at least one gift from Onana as an opponent. But if that's what they're banking on, then I'd be more concerned if I were a Lyon supporter. They did win their match this weekend, which put them to fourth in Ligue 1. But that's where I think they could be spread thin, because I do think in that case, success on the weekend could be their biggest weakness going into that. Because unlike United, Lyon still have two fronts on which they're competing, which means they're pulled in two different directions when it comes to rotation, fitness, and even focus in that regard. Obviously, you're going to try to do well in each match, but again, they can't afford to step off the gas in either of these, because they're huge for them right now, because they have a financial situation right now. They've got all sorts of shit going on. They're facing fines and whatnot. They had to sell players they probably didn't want to sell, like Kakare. They're probably going to have to lose Cherky for peanuts this summer because they can't afford it. But that's added pressure for them to try to lock in the financial boost of European football next season, either by competing in this competition or trying to qualify via their league place. So they are under a bit of pressure in multiple fronts. Last time, it was a game, like we talked about, of transitions, counter versus counter, who could get back in numbers and time, and that was kind of the test. We saw in that first leg, Lyon do like a lot of movements. Their fullbacks do get involved. A lot of these late runs, players coming in on the edge of the box to get on the end of something. Lacazette came on and caused a little bit of problems for us as well. The fullbacks obviously like a lot of movement. We tend to struggle with that. We saw that against Newcastle. Tons of movement, balls getting in the back post, late runs here and there. It was causing us all sorts of problems. Nobody was picking up runners, no communication, nobody paying attention. We're struggling with that. It's going to happen sometimes when you're chopping and changing with the defenders due to injuries and rotation. Lindelof obviously started. He's not the guy that I would trust to lead that line in the back, right? But it is what it was. As far as what we need to do, I know it's boring, and I know Amorim doesn't like it, but if he wants to advance to the semifinals, if he wants to get himself in the best position to qualify for the next round, he's going to have to be more compact at the back. It's going to have to make us more difficult to break down. There's no shame in that. Like we can do that. We've shown that we can do that. We've done it on several occasions. And for fuck's sake, somebody put pressure on the ball from these wide players. How many times have we just allowed these balls to go in? Somebody get out there, close down the space. Don't give them acres and acres of space and hours of time to pick their freaking ball. I can't tell you how frustrating that is to watch. Like that's just defending 101. I'm looking at you, Dallo, because you do it constantly. UK wants to know, do you think Onana will be back? We'll see. Give me 1 second. Let me get into the team selection, because I think that's going to be pretty important. Going back, I think that honestly, like aside from Bruno, I feel like as an opposition player, there's no threats from United right now. You could literally just sit back and just let us try to shoot at our leisure for 90 minutes, and we'd be lucky to hit the target once, because the way we're finishing these days. It's like a team of Timo Werners right now. That's just all or like or like Chelsea version of Fernando Torres. Like it would be great if our attackers would find their shooting boots like yesterday, like get them on, know where the freaking back in the net is. To be fair to Garnacho, his shot against Newcastle was perfectly placed, but it's a rarity since the international break that we're any sort of halfway decent. Højlund got a decent chance off of one, like Luke Shaw cross, literally the most perfect cross I've seen us put in months, and it came from Luke Shaw, which he has, of course, he does that, but he's just never fit. So, but on your question, Darren fan, I think the starting 11 we put out is probably going to be the biggest factor for this. It's a question of who's fit, who's ready to go, who's mentally there. I mean, to me, it was clear that Amorim had one eye on this match. With his team selection against Newcastle, with some of the subs he made late on the match. Some will tell you that's a mistake. You want to win the match you're in, but it is what it is now. No point in talking about that. We have to focus on Thursday. You can't argue that managing the minutes of a few key players doesn't help either. Like that's helpful. Whether or not it was the right move, it's kind of subjective at this point, but I don't think we're winning that match anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But Ahmad's back on grass. I do think it's probably way too soon. I do think we could see him in the squad before the end of the season. I do think we could see Ahmad start a match before the end of the season. If we get to the Europa League final, Ahmad's playing in that match. I guarantee you that right now. I'll clip this up. Aiden Heaven was back in the squad against Newcastle. Now, whether that was just to make up numbers or whatnot remains to be seen, but his injury wasn't as bad as people thought. He's back training quickly. He was back in the squad. He could be ready. I'm not saying he's going to be ready to start, but he could be ready to come in and rotate if we're up by a couple goals or something. Xerxes out, obviously, so this could be our chance to see Mason Mount start. With Xerxes being out, obviously Mount's getting more and more minutes. He looked really good against City. Not quite as effective since, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Shaw get more minutes too. I don't think Shaw is going to start, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him get more and more minutes. Amorim has been a little careful with his reintegration of injured players, and I think that at United, managers quickly realize that our physio team is not fit for purpose, and some of these players it's like you have to just play. It's like they're like Luke Shaw is almost like a firecracker. Like one match is all you're going to get, so pick that moment carefully, and then just let him do his thing. And if he gets injured, it is what it is. But for that one match, you had him, and he was fine. Like that's it. It's one and done, like a disposable camera. I don't know if Onana is going to be back though. Like I said, there was some speculation this morning that he's apparently reportedly worried that he could be dropped again. I don't know, not my call. If it were up to me, it just depends. Do you think is it worth the risk to play Onana, or do you think Binder, after a shaky Binder really was only at fault for one goal against Newcastle? Let's have it right. Now I don't think Binder is good enough to be our number one throughout an entire season, but we've seen that he in the last couple months before he got injured, especially against Arsenal, he wasn't horrible. I think a big part of the issue against Newcastle was a bit of the tactic stuff, but then obviously he can't pass the ball to save his life. So it's anyone's guess. How would I put that in the chat? Let me see what you guys think here. Who starts against Lyon? Onana, Binder. All right. You guys let me know what you think. I'll put that in the chat for you guys. I'll let you guys decide because it's your guys' channel. I'm just kind of here to sit in front of a ring light. Lanhart says, and that's why we need Shaw fit. Honestly, if Shaw comes in, puts in a beautiful cross, and like Højlund gets on the end of it and scores a winner, and then like Shaw immediately pulls his calf or something, it is what it is. We got a winner. I don't care. Darren Fan says United will win 2-0, 3-1. Okay. I like the spirit. I like the optimism, like Lionheart says. I like it. Darren Fan says needs the fans behind the team the whole game. And that's, if you guys looked at the description of the video and everything, that's kind of what the whole point is. We need the 12th man to be up for it, like almost more than the players. The crowd, we need the crowd. The crowd is a living entity. It is a factor in these matches. I know it's hard. I know when the players are just shit, it's hard to get up for it. And obviously, I don't know how many of you are going to be there or not, but the fans just get behind the players. It costs nothing to just cheer. It does cost nothing. I think this will be a tough match. I think that Lyon do have a lot of dynamism and do a lot of creativity and movement, but I think the Old Trafford crowd, I hope that they'll be buzzing for this. Losing Xerxes is a big worry, but with 4 days to rest and 4 days for our returning players to get even more fit, I think that we could edge this. Somebody said 2-0, 3-1. I actually predicted 3-1 to United. So you guys let me know your predictions. What do you think the score is going to be? What do you think any surprises we could see in the team selection? I think Bruno is going to be back firing. I think that Garnacho is going to be back firing. I think that we're going to be up for it. And I do think Casemiro probably goes back into the starting 11 for this one as well. Danny says Onana wants a new contract pay rise. Right? That'd be hilarious. Yeah, like Danny says, 100% we need the crowd. The crowd needs to get on Lyon's players every chance they get. The crowd needs to get behind Old Trafford, get behind the club every chance they get. Like, I want to hear this crowd. I don't want to be watching this and hearing crickets. I want them to be behind it. Even if we concede a goal, I want to hear the Stretford end singing. I want to hear everybody cheering. I want to hear everybody getting in. I call 3-1. Lionhearts is calling 3-1. Box is saying 4-2. Who else we got in here? Teresa, welcome back. Teresa says going for the win 3-0. All right. I like that clean sheet. You guys know I do love clean sheets. I almost love clean sheets as much as I love wins. Rob says 3-1 for me. All right. A lot of people going 3-1. I'm locking it in. 3-1 is my prediction. Lionheart says Hoyland's going to get 2. I like it, Lionheart. Get fucked, Leon. I like it. Danny says, rumors saying that's why agent was in Carrington. If his agent showed up with him at Carrington following that Lyon match to get a pay rise, then that was a waste of gas. At most, it was maybe like clarity over his future, over whatever, but there's no way anyone's getting a pay rise. I would just start laughing if I was anybody at that club. Until I would laugh so long and so hard that Onana and his agent would just sit there for like 10 minutes and then just leave on their own. I wouldn't even have noticed if they left or not, because I'd be laughing that hard. Teresa says, checking a bit late. No worries. Better late than never. The rumors are true about the emergency meeting yesterday at Carrington. I believe players will be coming out of the closet. There's much to lose for them. Well, sometimes if these players are already checked out, they could not care less, but hopefully they just get a kick in the ass, because I think if the club, and again, I don't need any statements from the club. I don't need any public backing for Amorim, but if the club basically make it known, listen, Amorim is your manager. Amorim is the boss. Amorim is the guy we believe in. Amorim is the guy that we're backing for the foreseeable future. And so, like it or not, you on the bench, like, fix up or fuck off. Like, he's your manager. Like, it is what it is. This isn't the old days where you just down tools and somebody gets sacked anymore. We're not doing that shit. Let's see what we get here. Box says you have to admire it, though. Yeah. UK Darren fan, United for life. Yes. United for life is the motto. United versus everybody is the way we roll around here. You guys, like I said, the merch is available. Check that link. I've pinned it. Let me see what you guys are saying in this poll here. You guys, 57% of you want Bayindir to start. Interesting. So I'm going to close that poll down. But I've seen a lot of fans, and you guys let me know what you think about this. I've seen a lot of fans say that it would be better for us not to be in Europe at all next season. A lot of people harken back to like Chelsea and just a little bit of that rebuild and whatnot. But these are also the same fans who will complain about the lack of funds, complain about, how skint we are sometimes, complain that we're not able to strengthen the squad. Like, you need that revenue to compete. You need that revenue just as a club. We are deep in the shit with PSR. We have a lot of work to do in the summer. Assuring European football would be a big help in doing that. That's the difference between a couple extra players potentially. Amorim getting strengthened like in the squad next January even. Even if you don't make it out of the group stage next year, that's still a lot of money. You're getting 4 matches at home basically, and you still get a cut of the gate at the away matches too. And we need it. I'm not putting money over points and wins. I'm not doing that, but it's a huge part of the reality at the club right now with the finances. And again, the finances that come, the revenue that comes with European football is a big deal. And so we can't afford to just dismiss it out of hand altogether. It would be great if we qualify. I think that's a big help for us. It does a lot, and it helps us because there are some players who want to play Champions League football, and qualifying for that is a big help. So, but speaking of qualifying, if we win Europa League, who the hell put sandpaper on Ian Ladyman's toilet seat? This guy threw an absolute cringe temper tantrum yesterday about teams like United and Spurs automatically getting Champions League football next year if they win Europa League. Like, is this your first day, bro? This is how it's been for years. That's literally how Europa League works, man. And it's not elitism like Ladyman claimed. It's literally the way the competition works. I don't get what his problem was. Freaking Abus, man. Like, I get everyone hates us, but maybe just a little effort to not be so transparent and biased about it would be great. Like, go cry some more, Ladyman. Fuck off, man. Seriously. Who hurt you, dudes? Oh, wait. We did. That's right. Lionheart says, new t-shirt, fix up or fuck off. I like that one. That is a good idea. Fix up or fuck off. I don't know what I would put on that, though. Would I put, like, some sort of design, like somebody yelling at a player? I don't know. You could just... it's a good shirt just to wear around the house, maybe. I don't know. Box says we are unbeaten in Europe since December 2023. Yeah, I mean, we are still the only club unbeaten in Europe. I don't count Conference League, so anyone saying Chelsea this, I don't care. Chelsea can fuck off. That's not a fucking. It's not a competition. Teresa says the fans are flippy flop. Don't really know how to support their team. As for Amorim out, did they realize he'd join another PL team and probably get better results? And United would be in a sorry state. Yeah, remember, Amorim was wanted by City. He was wanted by Liverpool. Liverpool literally went to talk to him. I think West Ham wanted him as well. He's a manager in demand. So, but he's also a manager that represents a rebuild. He plays a very different system. It requires a lot of backing, and that's the big reason Liverpool didn't end up going with that option, is because the system was very different and it would have taken longer. And I think Liverpool were trying to squeeze the last year they could out of some of these players, although it sounds like Van Dijk and Salah are signing new contracts. So it is what it is. But I totally agree. Robert Reed, welcome back. Love being on vacation and getting to jump in on these streams. Well, I love that you're taking time out from your vacation to jump in, man. But big up. Hope you're enjoying the vacation. Where are you at in vacation? Let us know. Lionheart says Amorim yelling, or like maybe him like kicking a TV or something. That would be a good one. It's like throwing a TV at people. Fix up or fuck off. Amorim in 100%, dude. I like Darren fan. I like your positivity and your optimism. I like that mentality, man. I'm here for it. You're bringing the fire today, so appreciate that, and appreciate the new face in the channel. But that is gonna. Oh, you're in Miami. Big up. I've been to Miami once overnight as I was on my way to Honduras. We stopped off. We had to stop off and stay at a hotel overnight. So I only saw the inside of the hotel, so I couldn't really tell you anything about Miami, but I flew over it. So, but if you weren't able to catch the live, you guys, no big deal. Let me know your predictions. Let me know your score predictions in the comments. Go check out the UVE shop. It is now live. You can get t-shirts like this one. You can get hoodies. There's some women's shirts in there as well. Check those out. There is a 20% discount for the next few days, and I will go check and see what other discount options I have. Again, I don't control the discounts or when they are. I just control whether or not I want them live. So you guys know I'll always have something live for you guys as long as I'm able. But go check these out. You guys saw me wearing the green and gold one yesterday. That thing is fire. So glad that thing looked the way it does. Check out the memberships too if you guys want to get more involved in the channel. Scouting reports, questions from a boot when I do those. And then the what if episodes. Keep a lookout for the next what if episode. I'll drop that this week. That'll be the fourth and final episode of this first season, and then I'll upload a couple more probably towards more closer to the summer. Again, probably do them in batches of 4. So but big up everyone for stopping by. Danny says he's gonna grab 1 or 2. Well, Danny, I think there is a discount too. If you buy like 3, you get like even more of a discount. I don't know. Like I said, I don't control that, but I appreciate that. I did get a lot of compliments on this when I wore it, so I'm glad that people like them. Most importantly, I love to see if I see any of these if people buy them in like the UK or in Manchester, and I see any of these on TV, I will probably cry a single tear of pride. But I would love that. So thank you guys for joining me. Like the video, please, on your way out. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new and you like what you see. Share the video too if you want to get even more people involved. As you can see, I'm all about fan opinion. I'm all about getting you guys involved. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys for stopping by. Keep a lookout for the next What If episode, and I will see you guys on the next one, hopefully talking about a big win. So take it easy, guy. Enjoy. Robert, enjoy your vacation. Talk to you later.